I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,286, silver at $14.52, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, police have broken into the Venezuelan embassy in Washington, D.C. and arrested 4 protesters from the Embassy Protection Collective. That's according to Medea Benjamin, an activist from the anti-war group Code Pink. Minpress News reports that among the 4 who were arrested during the raid are anti-war activists Kevin Zeese and Margaret Flowers. A U.S. Secret Service spokesman confirmed that it had helped Department of State's Diplomatic Security arrest the remaining Embassy Protection Collective protesters inside the embassy. The activists have been living inside the embassy since April 10th, in a bid to protect it from U.S. attempts to seize the facility and hand it over to supporters of Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido. The group was invited by the embassy's Venezuelan diplomats, who were forced to leave U.S. soil. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A shadowy UK government propaganda unit that privately declares that it works to affect behavioral and attitudinal change among British Muslims has drawn up plans to begin operating in France. The Anti-Media reports the Research, Information and Communications Unit, which is based at the Home Office in London, generates films, social media, websites, leaflets, and news stories that are intended to influence public opinion while concealing the British government's role in their creation. Now, documents seen by Middle East Eye show that RICU has awarded a contract to a consortium of communications companies, which demonstrates its ability to operate in France. The contract makes clear that while the companies are expected to be able to influence Muslim public opinion in France as part of a covert counter-extremism program, the ultimate aim of the program would be to encourage the French authorities to develop their own propaganda initiatives based on the RICU model. It's unclear from the documents whether RICU operations in France have actually begun, or whether the program is being developed in the hope of securing French cooperation in the future. Saudi Arabia, on Wednesday, submitted a letter to the United Nations Security Council, in which it held Iran and the Yemeni Houthi group responsible for targeting their oil facilities on Tuesday. The Anti-Media reports the letter was handed over by the permanent representative of Saudi Arabia to the United Nations. The letter included Saudi Arabia's holding of Iran and the Houthi militias it supports fully responsible for Tuesday's attack on the kingdom's oil facilities. According to the same source, a joint message was sent from Saudi Arabia and the UAE to the UN Security Council and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the attack and sabotage operation that occurred last Sunday against 4 ships in the international sea off the UAE's territorial sea and coasts. On Tuesday, Saudi Arabia announced that bombed drones attacked 2 oil pumping stations from the eastern province fields to Yanbu commercial port on the western coast by the Houthi group. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
As a police officer, I constantly live in fear that I might be filmed brutalizing a civilian. It's something you know from the time you're a cadet. the slightest civil rights infraction in front of anyone who's looking, and the next thing you know, you're surrounded by cameras and trending on Twitter. No cop should have to worry about that. Practically every precinct I know has somebody serving desk duty just for acting on deeply rooted prejudices when somebody had a recording device on them. It happened to my partner, and it even happened to our own captain. One day he's just kicking an unarmed pedestrian in the ribs when all of a sudden people with cameras are everywhere, and then they just start shooting what he was doing, all 6 minutes of it. I can't help but think sometimes that could have been me ending up at that desk job. You never know which day of total impunity will be your last, but for a cop, that's just our daily reality.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. And we're all about freedom here. We'd love to talk about it, but hey, it's open phone, so you can talk about whatever you like. Whatever's on your mind, you've never been on the radio before, this is the perfect opportunity. Over 200 stations coast to coast and around the world via things like satellites and the internet, that vast and sometimes embarrassing morass of stuff that makes it up. Joined in studio tonight, we are joined by I'd like to say welcome back, an extremely tired-looking Ian Freeman.
Well, I woke up at like 10 this morning after going to bed at like 2:30, 3 in the morning. You and I hung out a little bit last night after I got back, Rich, and woke up at like 10 or 11, and I probably could have forced myself to stay up. I'd slept for 7 hours at that point.
Right.
Took Jazzy out and made a couple phone calls because I had to call a couple radio stations, scheduled calls, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to bed. I'm a little tired. And then I woke up at 7 p.m., like right on time. I didn't even set an alarm.
Wow.
I woke up, looked at my clock. I'm like, 7 o'clock?
Yeah, travel like
God.
that. Travel like that really takes it out of you. I was prepared for you to sleep through the show tonight.
Wow.
Just, I even did show prep just in case.
And joined Nobody.
Nobody's here.
Rich Paul, also known as Nobody. So welcome, and we'll see if we have to prod or pick Ian up halfway through the show. I think he's gonna be fine.
I think I'm gonna follow my party strategy, which is if they pass out, I just leave them lie till they wake up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't have an alarm. I just woke up on my own.
I mean, I couldn't let you do any prodding if he does pass out. That's just gross.
So I did want to talk to you a little bit about your trip. I mean, I know this was somewhat of a mix of business and pleasure. I think anytime
he just went over to say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, they say that a lot there.
Yeah, I bet they do. But it was a little bit of a mix of business and pleasure. Mm-hmm. I know you met with the Bitcoin.com guys, and they are a sponsor of the show. And I know that there was certainly some interest in finding out what's going on over there.
Yeah, my God, I didn't really know. I mean,
they sell little girls' panties and vending machines. That's what's going on over there.
Bitcoin.com does?
No,
I don't think so. Of course not.
No. Bitcoin.com is completely innocent.
I don't think. Actually, I looked into because I was researching the magic mushroom vending machines when I went there. I looked that up and I kind of pulled up an article about the weird stuff that they have in vending machines in Japan, because there's vending machines everywhere. You can't throw a stone and not hit two of them.
Right.
And I guess both of those things were outlawed, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. So
they outlawed underwear vending machines. I wonder what the excuse for that was.
I think so. I know for sure they outlawed the magic mushrooms in 2002. I guess they were going to have like an Olympics there.
Wow.
And they were embarrassed about the magic mushroom vending machines, so they outlawed those, which is a shame because it would have made the trip a lot more interesting.
Either that or they didn't want to find out how fast these guys could run on mushrooms. Can you imagine being on mushrooms and like your one aim in life is to win this race?
Well,
it certainly provides
it's not
some
impossible.
focus.
Wasn't there a baseball pitcher who threw a no-hitter while on acid?
Yes.
I would not
can't
be
remember
surprised.
The guy's name.
Once you're into the zone, I mean, you're vibing with the universe. You can do that kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know? You ever see somebody get in a fight on acid?
No, thank goodness.
It's actually kind of frightening.
Wow.
Yeah, don't push people too far when they're tripping, because they don't know that you've hurt them, so they don't care until the next day.
I think we're at 49 years since Doc Ellis threw a no-hitter on acid.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, that was a feat.
Did you know that, or did you look it up?
I had to look it up.
Okay,
There is a great documentary out there about this story, and this it's called No, a documentary about Doc Ellis. About Doc Ellis. But yeah, he was, and those guys were, this was, I think, the early 70s, and they were partying hard, and he just, that was sort of his lifestyle at that point anyway, and everybody was like, how'd you do that? He's like, do what?
So, I mean, obviously, Bitcoin.com is a sponsor here, and we love what Roger has done. He's an important person in the history of Bitcoin.
Yes,
one of the first, if not the first, people to put money into investing into various different startups like blockchain.info and many of these other companies that are still with us today, that are the foundational companies for the Bitcoin universe.
Yeah.
And I knew he is a big supporter of cryptocurrency and all that, and I've known he's put a lot of money into it. I didn't realize how much of an operation they really have. There's 90 people that work for Bitcoin.com. They're not all based in Tokyo. He's got some programmers scattered about the world, but has a good crew of probably a couple dozen there in Tokyo, and they're working on all kinds of stuff that I'm sure not all of it I can reveal, but I think I can say that they've got some deals they're cutting, because apparently there's a new token thing with Bitcoin Cash.
SLP, Simple Ledger Protocol, which I was doing some research on, and I have been looking into it over the last couple of weeks. It's another platform where you could build your own cryptocurrency, build your own token, make it do anything you want it to.
Have you ever seen have you ever actually sent and received the Ethereum tokens before?
Yes.
They're a pain in the butt.
It is. It is a pain. And
you gotta. There's this thing called gas, and I'm still not exactly sure what it is, but it's some sort of fee that's Ethereum, but it's called gas.
Right.
And you have to send gas in order to send the tokens out to people, and you have to know how much gas to send, but there's no real good way to know. It's like you just kind of send it, and if it doesn't work, then send more.
Send more gas.
And then eventually you'll find the right amount and it'll work. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Maybe there's easier ways to do it now, but the last time I tried it, it was a pain.
Yeah, but so many tokens were built on that platform because it was really the first platform you could do it on, and I think the first time I saw a platform really designed around creating different assets was Ravencoin. And, I have some experience with Ravencoin, and I'm a fan of Bruce and those guys, and they do cool stuff.
We've spoken at their conference.
Absolutely. But I did want to...
never in the computer science, in the computer business, does the first to market end up being the dominant. I would have been very surprised if Ethereum had been the dominant platform for long. Just because you don't know how to design one of these things until one of them has been designed.
Right. And there are definitely some competition, but I played around with SLP on the Bitcoin Cash side, and it's very straightforward. Yeah. It's very
easy to send,
simple,
easy to receive, easy to make tokens.
And cheap.
And so, they actually had this thing that was, I guess, kind of probably made in... to be similar to this lightning torch that was being passed around.
Yes.
There's like a Bitcoin Lightning, which is on the old BTC blockchain, with a lightning network where people were passing this symbolic torch thing around the lightning network and posting online. And I got past this thing by somebody, I think it was actually Steven Zeiler. He was here last month, and he was like, you got to install this thing. I want to give you this. I'm like, oh, great. Another token. It was like kind of my attitude. And when I was in Tokyo, what they were telling me about was like there's some major companies that they're working with, not in the U.S., but in Japan and in Australia so far, that are, I think they already have built their own token, or they're going to, and they're going to start offering to accept their own token at point of sale at their major companies. Like we're talking about the equivalent of like a Walmart in Japan.
Sure.
And these are Bitcoin Cash tokens,
Bitcoin
not
Cash.
Ethereum tokens?
Correct.
Okay.
So they'll be accepting their own token and Bitcoin Cash at point of sale if these deals go through, and it was pretty impressive what they were
Now,
doing.
when they create these tokens, how does that affect the demand for Bitcoin Cash itself?
Should
Is
go
some
up.
of the Bitcoin Cash sequestered when the token
know.
is created
if-
to represent the value of the token?
I think
No.
you just have to spend the fees to
You have to
send it
spend a
around.
little bit of fee, so you could, and the demo I watched was, the guy started out with all of 10 cents worth of Bitcoin Cash. He created some tokens, and then he, moved a billion of them here, a billion of them there. You can do that. I think there's more effort that needs to go into the planning how you're going to use your token, because it could take your developers minutes to create a new token. 855-450 free. I want to hear more about Ian's trip because
I learned a lot.
This is Andy knows how to say Konnichiwa. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. And I wanted to tell you about Edge Wallet since we're talking about cryptocurrencies. Edge Wallet is available, and I recommend it. If you have iOS or an Android mobile wallet, you're going to find that in your Play stores. You can use the Edge Wallet to buy, sell, trade, securely hold your cryptocurrencies. It is controlled by you. You are in control of your own money, which is one of the benefits of cryptocurrency. There's built-in support for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, many, many more. This comes to you from a veteran team that has been building since 2014, and their tagline is "Secure Your Business." Find out more at edge.app.
They do a great job, and they used to program the Airbits wallet back when back when there were only Bitcoin wallets. They didn't have these other cryptos out there.
Right.
Airbits was the king of all the Bitcoin wallets. It was the best, hands down. And now they do Edge, and Edge is, of course, a multi-crypto wallet. I actually got to use a new feature. It's not new to Edge, but it was new to me. I'd never used it before on Edge, the exchange feature. Have you ever used Edge's exchange feature?
I haven't yet.
So they've teamed up with Changely, which is one of those websites that you can go to and just kind of drop in some crypto and then tell it to what to turn it into, and it's pretty slick. But the interface was as easy as it could be with Edge. Basically, you hit exchange on whichever crypto you want to exchange. So I've had some Dash. I wanted to turn it into Bitcoin BTC. So I hit the exchange button on it, and it says, "What do you want to turn this into?" Bitcoin BTC. How much? Put it in. Boom, you're done.
Nice.
And within minutes, you get the Bitcoin in your wallet. It is so easy. And I had a local business owner call me this week. Actually, Roberta from Corner News, the first business to take crypto in the area.
Right.
She was like, "I want to exchange some of this Dash into Bitcoin," which of course is understandable. The Bitcoin price has been going crazy recently, and unlike a lot of the times when Bitcoin goes up, most of the altcoins kind of go along with it. Yeah. Not on this run up. It seems like Bitcoin has been going up without all of the altcoins going with it.
But depending on the time, and with any of these things, when you get into a strong bull or a strong bear market, you're going to have things that defy it.
Sure.
Ethereum seems to be kind of bouncing opposite of Bitcoin.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's odd.
It says to me that this probably is a whale-driven rally in that, if it's a renewed grassroots enthusiasm for crypto, then everybody's going to buy into their favorite crypto. But when you see only one coin going up, that tells me that one guy or a couple of guys are really excited about that one coin, but it's not necessarily reflecting a broad-based excitement in the crypto community, although it may regenerate a broad-based excitement over time. I went actually looking through my wallet last night to change any residual BTC I had into something else because I expect that either the other cryptos are going to rise or Bitcoin's going to fall.
Well, we'll see over time. But in this case, she was asking me, how do I change this Bitcoin into Dash? I was like, well, do you have Edge Wallet? Because I can't remember which wallets.
Right.
Because I've taken notes on that, but I don't really know. And she's like, no, I've got Uphold. You told me to have Uphold. And I was like, well, no, I suggested that you have a multi-crypto wallet, but you wanted to easily change your crypto into cash. And so whenever a business owner wants to change it into cash, Uphold's the way that I recommend. It's uphold.com. Not a sponsor, and they've got terrible service. Just so you know.
Slight caveats there.
When it's working, it works fine. And so I was like, well, and the uphold exchange thing is such a confusing mess. It's like they use terms like buy and deposit and card instead of wallet.
Yes.
So like they changed the terms of everything, and it's like it was just an absolute mess and so many steps involved. And I'm like, look, Roberta, if you want, I can help you put all this into one wallet, and it'll make it super easy. And she's like, yeah, call me after you get back from the trip. So I'm going to hook her up with Edge Wallet, and it's so easy to exchange through Edge. So easy.
And the idea of exchanges in cryptocurrency are destinations you can go to. You can offer one cryptocurrency and receive something else in exchange for it. That's the term. And it's just sort of like a stock exchange. The best ones are the ones that are really, really simple to use. And this idea that you can do it all within one wallet through Changely, that's pretty cool.
It's
And there are other apps that have been out there. Shapeshift.io is really old, but
they went bad with Know Your Customer stuff. They must have gotten threatened.
Yeah, so you've got to register, and I was going to ask you about Changely if they have done anything like that. Nothing.
Nope.
That's cool.
Literally, I've never signed up for Changely. I didn't have to log in. It was just, what do you want to change it to?
Yeah.
Bing. Done.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, very, very cool.
Edge.app.
Edge.app. Yeah, we like that one a lot.
So what else do you want to know about Japan?
Japan? I want to know everything, Ian.
Well, I certainly don't know everything.
Is there any actual danger of turning Japanese?
I've got to say, it is a persuasive place. I mean, I could understand why somebody would want to, delve into that culture.
And you could pass. You've got the coloration. If
are you saying I'm yellow?
Well, no, not yellow, but you've got black hair.
Okay.
As you don't see a lot of brown hair in Japan. You're a little
Some
bit
of the women dye their
birdy.
hair. Some do.
They could think you were just a really tall, pale Japanese guy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know, especially the tall part. Let's just stay on these completely racist comments. Did you tower over everyone? Stereotype number 2.
Definitely the women there are pretty short. There's no doubt about that.
Interesting. Yeah. Would you guess an average height?
I wouldn't guess, but probably a little lower than the U.S.
I think U.S. is 5'4" is an average height for women.
I thought it was like 5'5", but yeah.
I could be wrong.
Whatever.
Wow. Yeah, but a little bit less. But I imagine the culture's got to be fascinating.
The women are generally better looking, and they generally hold on to their looks longer. That's what I saw.
This is, again, differences in culture, but I've seen some Asian women that I don't know if you're 18 or 60.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. Yeah. I don't have that eye, and they certainly hold their looks in different ways.
I've never been on a date with an older woman before, but I did that when I was in Japan.
Interesting.
And she looked good.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. Well, excellent. Anything else that just stands out? That's a cultural difference that you maybe didn't realize when you went over there.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think I knew a whole lot at all. I mean, when going over there, we've read some news articles about Japan here on Free Talk Live on occasion, like about how the culture there with young people is becoming more insular, which is true here too.
Sure.
But apparently it's more true there than it is here. At least that's what we've read, right?
Right.
Insular in not wanting to interact with. Okay, so personally and socially, not nationally or economically.
Right.
Okay.
Not going out, not meeting people, not going on dates, not having girlfriends, not
sort of a lost generation.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's as a result of that or if it's always been this way, but there's a high interest in American men from the American women or the Japanese females over there.
Perfect. 855 450 free. We'll pick on Ian a little bit more. I got a couple more questions for him about Japan.
Were we supposed to be picking on him?
But this is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
It seems like we're constantly hearing different fitness advice. Exercise 2 to 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes a day. And don't forget cardio. But don't exercise too much or you'll get hurt. So, how much exercise should you be getting? Well, actually not that much, since the human body is only built to withstand walking a short distance before lying or sitting down again. In fact, a group of biologists from Stanford found that walking more than 5 feet at a time can cause joint pain, fatigue, and even extreme hunger. The study concluded that the maximum effort the human body can safely endure is reaching for an item high on a shelf. Our bodies simply aren't built to stand up and move around. So maybe those high-intensity spin classes and daily jogs aren't such a good idea. Instead of walking up the stairs every day, try taking the elevator whenever possible. You can even use a fitness tracker to let you know when you've been exerting too much energy. Your body will appreciate it. For The Onion, I'm Jill Hooper.
This is the Onion News Network.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. Give us a call, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Chris.
Hey, Ian here.
And nobody.
Also, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul. We've
true.
been grilling Ian because Ian just got back from Japan.
That's true. Because we loved grilled Ian in the spring.
Grilled Ian. But it's been rather intriguing. And, of course, we had a bunch of crypto questions for him because he was over there visiting the offices of Bitcoin.com. And we wanted to know kind of what was going on over there. And then, of course, we immediately slid into all the cultural things that we're just typical Americans.
What do we know?
Just like, let me ask a bunch of stupid questions.
No tipping.
But I find it interesting.
No tipping.
Nope. That's interesting.
It's an insult to tip somebody there.
Yeah. Well, when you tip somebody there, when you over-tipped back in the day, when my father lived there, they did tip. I think the no tipping might be a new thing. But he said if you gave a very generous tip, in a restaurant in Japan, it was saying, you're going to need this extra money because you're not going to have your job very long.
Yikes. Hey, we're going to go to the phones where we've got Matthew in L.A. He's listening on TuneIn. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So, the tipping thing, that's new. When I was living in Kobe, tipping was considered okay. But the waitress always felt like she had to give you something in return for your tip.
Really?
So
It's like I hear a cry. Like I hear the cry of 100 waitresses cursing Ian's name in Japanese and not knowing why they didn't get a tip.
No, this is
Could it be?
Maybe it's just Tokyo, but that's what
a lot of countries don't just. It's not part of culture.
I was curious if you'd gotten a chance to go any place else besides just Tokyo.
No, that's it.
Did you ride a bullet train?
I rode a train, not a bullet train.
Okay.
No, you wouldn't ride a bullet train from one end of Tokyo to the other. Now, the thing I was listening to, my favorite talk show host in the morning is a very conservative guy, and he was talking with some guy with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which was odd because normally these guys won't go on a show that supports Donald Trump. This guy was talking about the energy revolution. And in the fortunately, how we're producing so much of our own energy. And in the course of the conversation, the guy said, of course, there's man-made global warming, which, is real. And I'm like, that just went right by the host. And I was thinking to myself, has the Overton window shifted so much that this has gone from a theory to a fact? Or maybe we could call it a religion?
I do. I think that people that are hardcore believers in anthropomorphic global climate change, whatever they're calling it this week, I have no idea.
Prosperity is a sin against equality, and those who sin will burn in the eternal fires of global warming.
But again, you are derided for, of course it's been years that you've been derided, but now even people that I thought were kind of at least smart and skeptical are kind of backing down. Your thoughts?
I would agree with you. Now I'm hearing, the crusade against plastic, and I'm thinking to myself, whoa, why? If we said we didn't believe them when they told us the planet was going to burn up because of CO2. Now they're crusading against plastic, and it's just how liberty vanishes is not one swell swoop, but nibble, 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 nibble.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Matthew, thanks for your call. I appreciate it. This idea that every possible ecological sin is all the fault of man, while neglecting little things like that huge fusion bomb that's going off called our sun, and puts more heat radiation on this planet than we could ever even think of changing. I think it's a little bit of folly, but if you disagree with me, give me a call, 855-450-FREE. I'm not saying that mankind does not have an impact. I just question whether it's right to spend trillions of dollars on fixing something that no one can prove through the scientific method is actually a real thing.
Yeah, there's no natural or normal state for the Earth. I mean, Antarctica under the miles of trees.
I got to stop you right there, Rich. Weren't you taught in school what the proper temperature of the Earth is? It's a number like 98.6 is for humans, right?
Oh, 72 degrees?
Okay, I'm good with that. That's as accurate as anything else. It's nice.
They say.
It's kind of balmy.
But under the ice in Antarctica, they have found the remains of forests.
Sure.
Which means there was a time in the past when the Earth was much warmer. And yeah, maybe you didn't want to live around the equator during that time, but it sounds like the Antarctic was a good place to live, and chances are the North Pole was a good place to live. So if some people need to move around the planet, that's fine. People could adjust to that. It might actually kind of improve things to reshuffle things once in a while.
Well, there is a fact, and that is more people die when it is cold than people die when it's warm. So it's at least beneficial to human life. We get more plant growth. We get better and easier agriculture. There's all sorts of things like that you would have to weigh. I guess what I try to do is to keep my time frame in check, and we're looking at 5 billion years so far, and we've got 5 billion, probably more, that this thing's going to go on. And here we are worried about this tiny sliver that is human existence right now.
Well,
and
there's a whole number of things that just drive me mad about it. You know, the first is, when we first become sophisticated enough to even do the measurements, we suddenly decide we're in the middle of a crisis.
That's a good point.
Well, we could never measure before, so this might be exactly what you would expect. The idea that you're going to exactly determine the average temperature of the globe by drilling down into an ice core, that might tell you the local temperature in one area of the world. But guess what? Some places are colder than usual and some places are hotter than usual any given year. The whole thing is built on a house of cards. I'm not saying it's not true, but it's certainly not proven.
And my question is how many billions or trillions of dollars are worth taking out of economies to states, for companies that set up things like exchanges for warming or global carbon credits. That's what I was looking for. Because this is big business that companies are buying and selling and trading these things through Al Gore's companies. So
this is a naked money grab.
Yeah.
That's all I see out of global warming is a naked a money grab and also a power grab, because everything you do produces carbon dioxide. So if they can regulate your carbon dioxide output, they can regulate whatever you do, even breathing.
Absolutely. And they do like to regulate almost everything. I know we're on a lot of stations. A couple weeks ago, we announced over 200 stations, which was a big deal for this humble, extremely talented radio show.
We've got the best humility on radio.
We do. But I know we're on in San Francisco, for example.
Are we on in San Francisco now?
I think so.
We take some calls from there. So maybe
there's one guy who calls. He listens online.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not on in San Francisco.
Dang it.
Sorry.
Well, I imagine we're on somewhere where a liberal may be listening to us, or if you're an environmentalist, you believe that I'm completely off base on this, call me up and tell me why. I want to know. 855-450-FREE. We're welcoming Ian back to the States from Japan. And if you have questions for him, give us a call, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com. Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855, 450 free. Free as in freedom. Free as in no free lunch. That's 855-450-3733. But I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin Cash wallet, buy Bitcoin Cash, and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin Cash. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community on the Bitcoin.cash, Bitcoin.com forums. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. There's Bitcoin.com.
Some of the big news that I definitely can announce out of Bitcoin.com is they are launching their own local Bitcoin's competitor. So they are going to have local.bitcoin.com.
Wow.
And it'll be Bitcoin Cash, of course.
Right.
And one of the really neat parts about it is it's going to be without know your customer requirements, meaning that the sellers and the buyers will not have to identify themselves to the website, that the conversations between sellers and buyers will be encrypted between the parties, so the site will have no idea what is going on. You will be able to assign an arbitrator basically to your transaction, so there will still be a way to bring a third party in to say, oh, somebody was being scummy here, or there's a scam going on, or whatever. So they're going to have a way to deal with that. But basically, it's going to be a less I don't even know if it'll be custodial. I think there's going to be some sort of a smart contract action going on instead of having to put your funds into a wallet on the site, I think.
Right.
Not sure about that aspect, but that is actually up right now. It hasn't started as far as the trading hasn't begun, but you can register an account. You can put up your first advertisement to promote whether you want to. I think just selling right now, but they're going to turn on buying soon as well. So it's there at local.bitcoin.com.
That is big news.
Yeah.
Local Bitcoins has been sort of it's a long-standing way for people to purchase Bitcoin.
Right, in real life too. You can meet people in real life.
Yeah, and that can be everything from meeting somebody at a coffee shop to doing something via depositing money in a bank and things like that. And local Bitcoins has become somewhat of a target by certain prosecutors around the country, saying, "Well, you didn't collect all this." Know your customer laws and all these things.
I think they're based in Finland, and the Finnish government basically cracked down on them, saying you got to have ID from all your sellers or something like that.
Yeah.
But they had to jump through those hoops.
And that's
Have you actually read the Know Your Customer laws?
God, no. Why would I want to do that?
Do they even apply to a church is what I'm wondering. I would guess they wouldn't.
I don't know anything about all those things.
I think the people that are going to adjudicate these things, meaning federal government, they're going to declare it whatever it is, whatever they want it to be, whatever they feel will protect you, the listener, from people conducting transactions that do not affect you whatsoever in any way.
Acts of capitalism between consenting adults.
Yeah. Props to the folks at Bitcoin.com for getting that going. That sounds like quite an endeavor. It would not be a simple thing to just clone local Bitcoins, and it sounds like they're doing things right with encryption and let's just call it a healthy distrust of law. I'm sure they respect this stuff to some degree, but this idea that we have to go to government every time we want to do something innovative before we do it is, the whole Mother May I thing, and that's kind of ridiculous. Sad. We've been talking with Ian because he just got back from Japan. Ian has all sorts.
I think you got your Discord unmuted there. Somebody's got a motorcycle.
Sorry about that.
My gosh, we do. Gabe, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
I'm from Vermont, which is right next to New Hampshire.
Well,
listen to you guys all the time.
Is that where they keep that now?
Pardon?
Is that where they keep Vermont now?
Go ahead, Bill. Anyway, I wanted to discuss a bill which has been introduced to the House called S-169, which would pretty much put a 24-hour waiting period on handguns and purchasing of handguns.
Boo.
Boo, boo.
Last
What
2 years,
happened
we
to
got
Vermont?
2 gun bills.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
Have you considered coming over to New Hampshire?
We're kind of close.
Just got a new house.
So. Oh, wow.
Well, that's okay. So where do you see this going forward?
Well, about a year ago, Vermont passed a bill called S-55, which was like the starting point for all these new gun control laws. And so I think this is going to pass with flying colors, unfortunately.
Yeah, I suspect so. Vermont's always been sort of an anomaly to me because I'm a very much a pro Second Amendment. Let me rephrase that. I'm pro right to defend oneself against threats, and I shouldn't have to ask anybody's permission to do that. Vermont, which is a very crunchy liberal,
socialist hellscape.
Thank you, socialist hellscape has had these lack of laws governing anything about firearms for almost
hundreds of years.
Yeah, as long as it's been in existence, and something will happen like Sandy Hook, and the rest of the country is just going crazy, and Vermont just sits back there and goes, well, you can still carry a gun wherever you want.
And of course, none of these things ever happen in Vermont that I know of.
They don't. No. One of the safest, I think, rated the safest state in the country. New Hampshire's always up there with it. I seem to think Vermont sometimes.
Are Vermont and New Hampshire 1 and 2?
Something like that. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, Vermont, we've had our own Second Amendment, Article 16, in our own Constitution since 1777. So it was always a really big thing until like the 60s and 70s when the liberals and the socialists kind of emigrated here.
Yes. And it's interesting. People look at what's going on in New Hampshire, the Free State Project, and other efforts to create a political-based migration of people who agree. Yeah. And I often point to Vermont and say, look at Vermont. They absolutely did it. You know, the downside for me was these were people that weren't really interested in liberty or freedom, but they wanted to bring their brand of what they believed to a state and take it over, and they did it.
You see, I'll tell you what, I would love to see that process completed. If they did a version of the Free State Project for anarcho-socialists in Vermont.
Can we send them ours?
Huh?
No, I'm just
well,
kidding.
that's one of the ideas, but also the idea is it's as easy for two states to secede as it is for one state to secede. And it would be nice to have allies, even if we go our separate ways once we're free of the U.S.
Absolutely. Gabe, any final thoughts?
Pretty much it.
Thanks for the call.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry about that. Some minor tweaks on our board, so I'm stumbling a little bit, but I appreciate it. We're going to go to Darwin, who's calling in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Darwin, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I know you hate to hear that, but
I never do.
I was interested in talking a little bit about the global warming that you were discussing. I think that the way to understand it is to look at four graphs, just in the last 100 years.
Just
one of them
as a
is
tip.
Human population.
Okay.
As a function of time over the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is worldwide oil consumption. The third one is carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere.
Okay.
And the fourth one is average global temperature.
So I should be able to compare these against numbers from 1,000 years ago. Let's just stick to modern times. I should be able to compare these to about
1,000 years ago.
Hold on. I should be able to go back 500 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
On all these graphs.
You could.
But correlation isn't causation.
The trend is very visible in the last 100 years, though.
Yeah.
And what you see is they all have this exponential property. Human population growth, it was about 2 billion in 1930. It was about 3 billion in 1960. We're at 7 billion plus today.
So let me pick on one of your. Let me pick on one of your graphs and say average temperature. How is? Oh man, can I hold you over, Darwin? Because I'd love to continue this conversation. Is that okay?
Question to think about is how is that calculated?
Correlation's not causation.
Absolutely. We've got some other things we're going to talk to Darwin when we return. But 855-450 free. What do you think? Where do you stand on this issue where billions and trillions of dollars flow in and out of economies, and can we do anything about it?
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, formerly Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Air National Guard and Reservist. I'm looking for veterans, active duty military personnel to join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. She needs your skills, courage, and loyalty more than ever. Contact GCNteam.com. Because of the financial and healthcare collapse, veterans are currently struggling finding jobs. Frustrated looking for a job? Change your tactics. Join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. Start a healthcare business with FDI Longevity 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com immediately. We're looking for military specialists who can use a computer, can communicate information, and execute a battle plan. Join the admirals, Navy SEALs, Marines, pilots, Army officers, military police, sheriffs, police officers, firemen, and first responders already enrolled in the 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com now. FDI Longevity will help you apply your military skills to the task of saving America through health and financial programs. Contact GCNteam.com. Enlist in GCNteam.com and save America.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,286, silver at $14.52, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, police have broken into the Venezuelan embassy in Washington, D.C., and arrested 4 protesters from the Embassy Protection Collective. That's according to Medea Benjamin, an activist from the anti-war group Code Pink. Minpress News reports that among the 4 who were arrested during the raid are anti-war activists Kevin Zeese and Margaret Flowers. A U.S. Secret Service spokesman confirmed that it had helped Department of State's Diplomatic Security arrest the remaining Embassy Protection Collective protesters inside the embassy. The activists have been living inside the embassy since April 10th, in a bid to protect it from U.S. attempts to seize the facility and hand it over to supporters of Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido. The group was invited by the embassy's Venezuelan diplomats, who were forced to leave U.S. soil. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A shadowy UK government propaganda unit that privately declares that it works to affect behavioral and attitudinal change among British Muslims has drawn up plans to begin operating in France. The Anti-Media reports the Research, Information and Communications Unit, which is based at the Home Office in London, generates films, social media, websites, leaflets, and news stories that are intended to influence public opinion while concealing the British government's role in their creation. Now, documents seen by Middle East Eye show that RICU has awarded a contract to a consortium of communications companies, which demonstrates its ability to operate in France. The contract makes clear that while the companies are expected to be able to influence Muslim public opinion in France as part of a covert counter-extremism program, the ultimate aim of the program would be to encourage the French authorities to develop their own propaganda initiatives based on the RICU model. It's unclear from the documents whether RICU operations in France have actually begun, or whether the program is being developed in the hope of securing French cooperation in the future. Saudi Arabia, on Wednesday, submitted a letter to the United Nations Security Council, in which it held Iran and the Yemeni Houthi group responsible for targeting their oil facilities on Tuesday. The Anti-Media reports the letter was handed over by the permanent representative of Saudi Arabia to the United Nations. The letter included Saudi Arabia's holding of Iran and the Houthi militias it supports fully responsible for Tuesday's attack on the kingdom's oil facilities. According to the same source, a joint message was sent from Saudi Arabia and the UAE to the UN Security Council and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the attack and sabotage operation that occurred last Sunday against 4 ships in the international sea off the UAE's territorial sea and coasts. On Tuesday, Saudi Arabia announced that bombed drones attacked 2 oil pumping stations from the eastern province fields to Yanbu commercial port on the western coast by the Houthi group. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Later in the hour, the U.S. Postal Service announces that you can deliver the mail yourself if you think it's so easy. But first up in health news, researchers from Harvard University have found a strong link between male virility and wearing Motley Crue denim jackets. For the study, researchers paired fans of the band with a control group and found that those wearing Motley Crue attire were far more likely to knock out some chick's totally jacked boyfriend and then do it with her later that same day than those who simply wore casual clothes and probably wouldn't know what it feels like to have 2 threesomes in one night.
Men who owned jackets with an image of Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx sitting on top of a pair of breasts with nipples in the shape of pentagrams showed higher levels of sexual potency, endurance, and libido. These guys do it all the time, and sometimes even in public. They don't care.
Although the study primarily focused on men in Motley Crue jackets, researchers also found that men who listened to Nirvana had a high likelihood of staying virgins forever.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 8:55, 4:53, returning for hour number 2. We do 3 hours of this every day, 365 days a year. So if you like what you're hearing, tune in. And you can also check out archives.freetalklive.com. Archives has the audio of virtually every show going back to what,
2006.
2006. So if you want to catch up on several years, binge listen to Free Talk Live. That's always fun too. But you'll find some interesting stuff as you go back. In studio, it's Chris
and Ian,
and nobody, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul.
And as we are wont to do, we've kind of been all over the board, and that's a good thing because it keeps things interesting. But we were talking a little bit about global warming. I can't even remember how this came up. I'm trying to put this together from the last hour. I think it had to do with, I think we were talking about Japan, and then we sort of spun off, Rich, you and I, talking about climate and things like that, and how much money gets poured into climate science, and my question of it's going to do what it's going to do, and is that going to change?
Yeah.
Is it going to have an impact?
The thing that bothers me, or one of the things, and do we still have a caller on the hook?
We do.
Okay.
Let's bring him back in, too. Let's see. Darwin calling from Albuquerque. Darwin, you still there?
I am still here.
Excellent.
All right. From Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And
from Albuquerque.
Interesting. We get a lot of calls from Albuquerque.
So.
Not unusually warm. He had brought up this idea of looking at 4 different graphs. Do you want to recap for our listeners what those graphs were, which is impossible to do on radio? But I guess he's
do it on radio. But
you're
we all
asking
have
to
Google, and
visualize.
it's really easy to pop up these graphs. One is human population as a function of time. The other is oil consumption worldwide as a function of time. The other is CO2 content in the atmosphere. And the last one is the average global temperature.
So
I know that last one is kind of a tough one, but the 3 the three first ones, they're very, very clearly, science-based. Human population can definitely be determined. Oil consumption is definitely measured, and CO2 content can be measured quite readily.
Okay.
And they all have this property that they look like exponentials. Okay, they all are increasing.
So by using the phrase exponential, you mean that they are all going to go off the charts, meaning human population will go off the charts. You're saying that the average temperature of Earth is growing exponentially, therefore the planet ends in 12 years?
No. I'm not of that. I do not subscribe to that point of view. All these exponentials will eventually have to reverse.
I keep coming back to this phrase exponential. You understand what exponential growth means?
Yes, I understand.
Well, population growth is always exponential.
And I know that it can't go on indefinitely.
Correct.
And if you look, for example, at oil consumption, that's a really interesting one because in 1970, worldwide, we were using approximately 40 million barrels of oil per day, all over the globe.
Yep.
In 2000, that had gone up; it doubled. So we were using about 80 million barrels of oil per day in 2000. Now, as we approach 2020, we're using about 110 to 120. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's definitely well over 100 million barrels of oil per day.
And where is most of this growth coming from?
Human population and industrialization.
Let's try to be a little bit more specific, because I think this is important too. So as a counterpoint, I look at things like the use of fossil fuels, the growth, the rapid growth. Meanwhile, in the United States, cars keep getting more economical, correct? It's dictated by our government, right? We got to do that. But where this happens is in developing countries. Are you suggesting that developing countries that are finally coming up with ways to extend their lifespans should stop?
Sure, and their lifestyle. Who doesn't want to improve their lifestyle, Should
they stop doing these things?
Well, it's kind of hard.
It is.
I personally, I think that it's kind of cooked in, a lot of it. And really, I tell you, you go to Wikipedia and you go and you look at peak oil and look at the whole phenomenon of peak oil and what that means.
Or does it mean?
Well, it means that we're eventually going to go through the easy to obtain oil.
Well,
we're going to get to a point where we can't extract the oil without.
So economically, what will be the effect of that? Let's look at this in concrete economic terms. What happens when it gets harder to extract oil?
Can I stipulate here and say that I buy into peak oil? Because I've got a brother, and I've been listening to the peak oil argument for about 30 years now. 30 years he's been telling me, in the next 5 years, it is imminent. It's right around the corner. He shows me these charts, and he says this stuff is growing exponentially, and it cannot sustain itself. But that means is technology catches up, and suddenly we find other ways of extracting these things.
And it also doesn't matter a whit, because if it's true that it becomes more difficult to extract oil, then what happens? Oil becomes more expensive. Eventually, oil becomes more expensive than some other energy source, and that other energy source becomes our primary source of energy, and we go on as if nothing happened, and nobody cares except people who own power plants, which are none of us.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it could be nuclear.
It's probably going to be beyond our lifetimes.
That's fine.
You're correct in that. But I mean, I'll tell you what my opinion is. I believe that we're going to eventually go to nuclear. Nuclear is going to be our primary.
I hope
so. It's going to have a whole host of problems, too.
I hope
because
we.
of the waste and all of that.
Nuclear has some problems, but those problems are overblown. People can't tell the difference between a nuclear power plant and a nuclear bomb. If you look at the area of Fukushima, was that the name of it?
Yes.
In Japan, or if you look at Chernobyl in Russia, those were some horrible accidents, but even those, and Chernobyl apparently was a joke in its design, but, nature is doing just fine in those areas.
And
because they don't have any Geiger counters, so they don't mind going there.
Right, they don't have Geiger counters. But but CO2 is directly a result. I maintain it's directly a result of that oil consumption. So
how have we
only question
is
that really what's contributing and leading to the rise in global temperatures?
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say no. Because I remember
you can believe that.
No. I want to go back to a couple things. I want to go back to Al Gore's famous movie, An Inconvenient Truth, because I was told in 1997, whenever that movie came out, that the science is settled and that New York would be underwater. No.
Science doesn't get settled. That's the nature of science.
Exactly. We continue to question and we continue to innovate. And this idea that New York is gone. By now, New York is gone, according to that documentary, that Miami is gone. Most of Florida is underwater. And these things never came to pass. My issue
Too bad.
is...
I'd love to see New York underwater.
But
Can you imagine the redistribution of wealth that would happen? All of a sudden, you'd have all this great lakeshore or oceanfront property and
in the Bronx.
Darwin, thank you for your call. I highly recommend, we'll get into a couple things. I recommend 855-450-FREE. Some strong opinions on global warming and the climate. What do you think? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. You can also hit us up on Discord like Gabe did earlier. Gabe's call was so clear. It sounds as clear when you call in using Discord. You can download the Discord app through your app store, or you can download a client for your laptop. It's free, for gosh sakes. You use your high-speed internet connection, you use a quality microphone, and you will sound like you are in here right here with us. And the us in studio is myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And nobody, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul.
But it was a tremendous call, and I just love it when people hook up with us on Discord. You can find out our address at discord.freetalklive.com. And you just don't have the adversity, Rich. You don't have the adversity when you use Discord. But they're not the only ones. You
don't have the adversity?
It was an attempted segue.
Okay.
Hear me through here. Who is going to be using adversity scores are colleges, apparently. So part of whether or not you get into a college should be how much adversity you have encountered in life.
Really?
Is this a pushback against the whole scandal thing with, like, you know, the daughters of these Hollywood stars where their mothers and fathers were paying off admissions people to get them in their
This just seems
colleges?
like rampant nonsense. The idea, so the SAT score, let's talk about SAT. What does the SAT mean to you? The SAT means to me that this is a measure of what I have learned to date, and they're going
or
to.
You've learned how to answer test questions at least.
Possibly, but in lacking anything else, it's at least given me something that I've had to study for and get a good score, or it's maybe it's an overall general idea of how much education.
Yeah, I mean, they do vocabulary, basic math, things. It's not that bad a test as tests go.
Right. So the College Board, which oversees the SAT examinations used by most U.S. colleges during the admissions process, plans to introduce an, quote, adversity score, unquote, which takes into consideration the social and economic background of every student.
So they're going to fudge the numbers.
They're going to do something with the numbers. The move is likely to reignite the debate over race and class in college admissions. The new admission score is being calculated using 15
Well, now wait a minute.
factors.
Hold on. Adversity doesn't necessarily have to do with the color of your skin. It has to do with, a variety of factors. I mean, there's plenty of people who grew up poor who are white.
Exactly.
Right? That's adversity, isn't it?
It is, and I think that's worth this discussion. The new adversity scores are being calculated using 15 factors, including crime rate and poverty level from a student's high school and neighborhood, the Wall Street Journal first reported. Students won't be privy to their scores, but colleges and universities will see them while reviewing applications. So again, can we imagine what could go
So it's
wrong
a secret
with this?
score.
A secret score, one that the students aren't going to see.
Wow.
It's going to be based
if I run a
on
business,
your neighborhood.
If I run a business and I can get a hold of that data, then I can hire only people who came from the very best of neighborhoods.
Right. Or neighborhoods like mine.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That
Will they release the scores to those who pay for them?
Exactly. So far, 50 colleges have used it to make a decision about a prospective student's chances. The College Board plans to expand that to 150 higher learning institutions in the fall. The goal is to use it broadly by 2021. Quote, there are a number of amazing students who may have scored less on the SAT, but have accomplished more, unquote, says David Coleman, chief executive of the College Board. Quote, we can't sit on our hands and ignore the disparities of wealth reflected in the SAT. Unquote.
Okay, SAT, you have one job. Measure academic achievement. That's why it's called the Scholastic Academic Achievement Test, isn't it?
It's pretty close.
No, actually, I was silly of me. I conflated the ACT and the SAT. The SAT is the Scholastic Aptitude Test, and the ACT is the Academic Achievement Test.
Yeah, but again, they are taking it completely outside the realm of academics entirely. Would you agree?
Yes, they are. They're basically fudging the numbers to try to make outcomes more fair. Well, the problem is maybe you grew up in a bad neighborhood because your parents had good luck, but maybe you grew up in a bad neighborhood because your parents weren't very smart. Well, that tends to be reflected. Okay, so it may well be that bad students are gathered in bad neighborhoods and tend to be poor because they tend to be descended from parents who weren't very bright and didn't do well at solving the problem of how do we make enough money to get out of this bad neighborhood.
There's a lot of different ways to look at this. I immediately think that this is a move to, as you said, create the outcome they want.
Yeah.
And they want equality. And to me, when we're talking about things that we can sort of measure, we shouldn't be worried about equality. We should be worried about how do we make the test better. And that doesn't mean that there aren't improvements that could be made to more accurately test people. Maybe it's even testing people from different economic backgrounds.
And we should not be penalizing people because their parents had the foresight to work hard and make the right moves so that they had a good start in life. Correct. That's part of a parent's job.
Right.
And the fact that some parents do it badly does not mean you should penalize the parents who do it well.
And by default, and through this conversation, you are in effect saying for people that have lived in a better neighborhood, that don't have as much crime in their neighborhood, they are going to be penalized. They're going to have fewer opportunities available to them because if you are cooking the books just to make it easier for people from lower income and more crime-ridden areas to get in, then people from nicer places are not going to get in.
Yeah.
Because there's a finite number of seats in a college classroom, unless you go to a diploma mill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is, the other thing is that college can very well be a trap. Okay, it's
definitely a trap.
They have steered so many people into college that a college degree is not worth the money that you pay for it, and they have created this god-awful student loan program, and I remember arguing with my father when they created it. My father was at the University of Michigan, and he'd say, "You hate poor people because you don't want the student loan program." No, I don't want it because it's bad.
Some of the first schools to sign up for this happen to be some of the Ivy League schools like Yale. What do you think? Is this cooking the books, or is there some real social benefit to this? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Searching for a safe way to get rest you deserve, improve and lift your mood, relief for aches and pains? The answer, Hemp FX, Uplift, Relax, Soothe. You are invited to a workshop free on Saturday, May 18th, 10:30 to 1:30 at Westin San Francisco Airport, 1 Old Bayshore Highway, Millbury, California. Contact Anna at 650-861-0606. That's 650-861-0606 or Donna Garland at yahoo.com.
Phone records, financial and location data, Prism, Tempora, X-Keyscore, Boundless Informant. Hey y'all, Scott Horton here for offnow.org. Now here's the deal. Due to the Snowden revelations, we have a great opportunity for a short period of time to get some real rollback of the national surveillance state. Now they're already trying to tire us by introducing fake reforms in the Congress. And the courts, they betrayed their sworn oaths to the Constitution and Bill of Rights again and again, and can in no way be trusted to stop the abuses for us. We've got to do it ourselves. How? We nullify it at the state level. It's still not easy, but the Off Now project of the 10th Amendment Center has gotten off to a great start. I mean it. There's real reason to be optimistic here. They've gotten their model legislation introduced all over the place, in state after state. I've lost count, more than a dozen. You're always wondering, yeah, but what can we do? Here's something important, something that can work if we do the work. Get started cutting off the NSA support in your state. Go to offnow.org.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom, 855 450 3733. In studio, it's Chris, Ian, and Rich Paul. I'm sorry, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul, now known as Nobody, as he begins his political career, because how could you resist?
We're still waiting for court approval.
I just want it to happen. Get this done, guys. Come on.
If you've got some influence with the judge, maybe you can get him to adjust the docket.
I
but
have
I don't
no
think
influence. I have slight disdain.
Only slight.
That's
Wow.
not going to help you.
One of my favorite Mae West lines. Madam, are you attempting to display contempt for this court? No, Your Honor. I'm attempting to conceal it.
Oh, God. Something else, a story we've been discussing has been this idea of adding an adversity score to the SAT. And this is being done by the College Board, which oversees the SAT exams.
I'm sure they're a fun bunch.
We
sure
all are adverse to that idea, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm totally adverse to the idea of even going to college. So I really, it's
right.
It's fun to watch it burn like this, but I really don't care.
That's
right?
a good. That's a really good
What
point.
if we get offended? Can we get offended about this and make them stop? That seems to be the new order of the day.
Right. I'm offended that I did not grow up in a satisfactorily, like, what do I do if I feel my adversity score is too low? I can't go back and do anything about it. I can't go back to my childhood or I lie.
Maybe they can have classes in remedial adversity that you can take as college prep, like go live in the building I used to live in Manchester that's full of crackheads.
Right.
And that way you can up your your adversity diversity.
Absolutely. And unsurprising, at least to me, this idea is the first schools that are hopping on board seem to be the Ivy League schools. Yale University is one of the schools that has begun using adversity schools. The Connecticut-based Ivy has pushed an increasing push to increase socioeconomic diversity in recent years and almost doubled the number of low-income students.
Maybe they should go all the way with this and allow those with high adversity scores to have an easier time in school as well. Just give them half as difficult, curriculum.
I like that.
Just make it easy.
Plus, they're going to feel better about themselves, if they get good grades than if they get poor grades.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do go all the way with it. Basically devalue your Ivy League school down to the level of a poorly run community college. That's what you're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, I mean, and that may be overstating it, but what they are going to do is they're going to absolutely to devalue their degrees.
Yes.
Whether it's to the point of a community college, well, that's another thing, but it's certainly not in the right direction that they're going to move.
That's absolutely truth. Quote, this adversity score is literally affecting every application we look at, unquote. Jeremiah Quinlan, Dean of Undergraduate Admissions at Yale, told the Wall Street Journal, quote, it's been part of the success story to help diversify our freshman class.
Yeah. So basically what they're trying to do then is get in, I think the intent of this is to do racial discrimination by other means. Okay, because they used to have race-based quotas, they used to have race-based incentives, all that stuff was found quite properly to be itself racist.
Right.
So now they're trying to readjust. I will bet that if you look at the scores they're gathering, that the results of those scores will be a better predictor of minority status than they are of economic hardship.
Yes, and I think this idea that we have to make everything has to be about race, and the entire, which completely missed the point of human rights. The point is that we all have the same shot, And if you came from a place of adversity, what I'm imagining is, I'm trying to remember what the movie was. This is really bad when I'm trying to quote a movie. But a lot of stories about people that have done amazing things that have come from places of amazing challenge. And, you know, I'm thinking of a Will Smith movie, and I can't really picture it, but the guy
Independence Day.
No, it wasn't that one, but that's a good one, though. But this idea that, you know, I love a story about somebody who fought against, you know, didn't have anything going for them in their personal life,
Who
but
overcomes
still
the odds.
overcomes the odds and does something. It cheapens.
Pursuit of Happiness?
Yes, that's what I was thinking about. And I
Yeah.
think he was...
That was a good movie.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
But I just think it cheapens those stories. It's, you know,
Right.
the more you've overcome, the more of a person you have become.
And I
That's
think
how
a
I see
lot of this is Hollywood, because Hollywood, we are raised on a stream that consists of nothing but man bites dog stories. Things where the thing which is least likely to happen happens. And I think that's one of the reasons for some of the social weirdness that we have these days, you know, because in movies, of course, for example, the guy who looks like a decent guy is always this horrible person, and the other guy, ends up being a diamond in the rough, where he looks like an awful person, but he's really got a heart of gold. Right. And I think people have seen that story so many times that they think that all the decent people are horrible and all the horrible people have hearts of gold.
Still, it's unlikely the adversity score will be a hit with advocates who have long argued that merit alone should dictate whether a student is allowed admission. Many universities like Harvard say a diverse student body is part of the college experience and should be the educational mission of a school. However, there have been several lawsuits filed in recent years that accuse universities of unfair admissions practices. In October, Harvard University's Dean of Admissions testified the Ivy League school applied different SAT score standards to prospective students based on factors such as race, but insisted the practice is not discriminatory. Students for Fair Admission, a group headed by legal strategist Edward Blum,
isn't the program directly designed to be discriminatory? I mean,
that's the point, right?
That's
maybe
the point.
not racially, but certainly it's discriminatory on some factors.
Test scores?
Students for Fair Admission, a group headed by legal strategist Edward Blum, sued the Cambridge, Massachusetts school in 2014, claiming Asian Americans who have the highest academic records unfairly receive the lowest admission rate at the elite college. So, yeah, I mean, if we're going to chase, that's the thing. You're chasing this vision, and this vision happens to be whoever is coming up with this, their particular vision of what college should look like.
Well, it's a bunch of groups, each of them fighting over our group should have more, no, our group should have more, no, our group should have more, instead of the best students out there should go to school.
Exactly, or to certain schools. I'm fine. And, hey, if you want to come up with a school that caters to people that come from very challenging backgrounds, or you want to open a math school for Asian Americans, you know, in today's environment, you'd be shot down. That would be, you can't discriminate like that. Well, why can't I? Why can't I have a school that is only accepting the most talented Asian American math brains? Why shouldn't that be allowed? 855, 450 free. What do you think? I'm probably sounding racist here, but trust me, I am not. I just want to see people treated the same and not based on the color of their skin or how much money their family amassed over the decades.
The content of their character.
Funny thing, isn't that? This is Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-453. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. We've been talking about adversity, and my gosh, trying to cook the books. That's how it sounds to me. In studio, it's Chris, Ian, and Rich. I'm sorry, nobody.
Nobody cares.
Basically, nobody cares. This works on so many levels, Rich. I love that.
Nobody's going to believe it.
I know. Okay, Rich. I mean, nobody. You will keep this up all night long. I have no doubt.
Nobody can stop me.
Exactly. This idea that people should be assigned an adversity score based on where they grew up and how much crime there was in their neighborhood and what poverty level
Does that mean
they
if you
were.
commit more crimes as a kid, you're going to actually help yourself on the SAT? So you'll raise the crime rate in your neighborhood and therefore lower whatever the bar is to get into college.
Yeah, well, if you and your friends cooperated, you could probably move that variable.
Right.
Move the needle.
You'd have to get the whole school on it. This could be an 80s movie. They could do a whole montage of them out committing all these various
Blow up
crimes.
some mailboxes.
You get your Crips and Bloods together to get these kids into college.
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many ways we could do this.
So if you
that
wear a
would be a
bandana,
great screenplay.
put on a Crip or Blood color, right? So you get the
Right.
bandana, put that on when you go apply to the SAT. That way they know for sure where you came from.
Exactly. If there's ever any question, 855-450-FREE. That's our phone number. If you want to talk about that story, that's cool. We'd love to talk about it. But we're also interested in what's going on in Venezuela because that is a socialist hellhole, and it's sad. People are losing their lives.
Well, don't worry.
Lost their fortunes.
There's a guy that the U.S. government and other government goons from around the world have backed, who is also a socialist that's going to take over if they get their way.
Oh,
that'll solve everything.
A new socialist.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you just
if
start
your
off
old
by
socialist
saying that?
doesn't work, just pop that one out and put in a new one.
All right, this one's friendly to the U.S. government.
It's like an air filter. That socialist was filthy. He needed replaced.
Exactly. And didn't we just have a president come out and say there will never be socialism in the United States?
Well, he's going to be taking over Venezuela, so there you go.
So as long as they're our friends, so we'll support the socialists, but just not in my backyard.
See, the only interaction I think we should have with Venezuela is I think we should deport our socialists to Venezuela. And other than that, we should impose no other sanction on them. But if you advocate socialism in the United States, we'll deport you to Venezuela.
Send Bernie down. I mean, he's talked a lot about socialism in Venezuela. He's talked a lot about in the past. I think he had a lot of kind words for Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez. And so, of course, the socialist excuse is, well, they didn't do it right. Well, let's send Bernie down there and put him in charge and see how it's going to be. He's going to do it right.
And if you can fix Venezuela, Bernie, then we'll let you try a larger country, maybe Mexico. Okay? See if you can get that one working. But socialism doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And we joke about it, but socialism killed over 100 million people in the 20th century, and that's nothing to laugh about. That is tragic.
You have to laugh or you cry.
That's it. And just this idea that this is beneficial, that people will be better because you feel better being a socialist, not how it works. Not how it works at all. And I don't know. I don't know what to do other than to point at, a century of experiments that have all cost millions of lives.
Well, the other thing you do is you stock up on precious metals. And when I say precious metals, I'm talking gold, silver, copper, steel in the form of guns, brass in the form of cartridges, and lead in the form of bullets, because be ready.
So, Ian, I think I want to fly down there and just check it out for myself. Is there a problem with that?
According to various news sources, this one, UPI, all flights between the United States and Venezuela have been suspended indefinitely, according to the Department of Homeland Security release from Wednesday this week.
Wow.
The decision was coordinated with other cabinet members. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has approved the suspension, and Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao implemented it, according to a statement from DHS. Quote, Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Kevin McAleenan determined that conditions in Venezuela threaten the safety and security of passengers, aircraft, and crew, requiring an immediate suspension of all commercial passenger and cargo flights between the United States and Venezuela. So if you were down in Venezuela, good luck getting back.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure you can take a bus into a neighboring country.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's going to be it could definitely be a pain.
Yeah, not how I want to spend my vacation. Let's just go on a bus tour of South American banana republics and hope we make it to an airport.
Something I'd be curious about knowing, how many of these caravans that are coming through Mexico that they keep talking about, how many of those are Venezuelans?
I don't know. They always say Guatemalans, and Guatemala evidently poses a clear and present danger to our American way of life. I've never figured that one out. But
Guatemala, isn't that the one that's like the size of Rhode Island?
Pretty much.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I know.
What are they doing down there that's so dangerous to us? Any idea?
I never know. The argument is that many of them are members of MI-13 and other gangs, and the gangs are going to invade and create crime and probably dabble in illegal drug trade, because you can't do that legally, right? You can't have a legal drug market. You have to have a black market one, so those guys will rush to fill it.
I mean, as long as you create an ecological niche for organized crime, there's going to be organized crime.
Indeed.
You know, the only way to get rid of organized crime is repeal the consensual laws, because, if people aren't on the hook to you for something else, like they get their drugs from you or whatever, they're not going to tolerate your extortion racket. They're going to shoot you in the face.
Indeed.
So is this propaganda? Because it would seem to me that if Delta, or whoever it is that, whatever airlines are servicing Venezuela, if they felt like there was a problem, let's say somebody gets their airline shot down with a surface-to-air missile of some sort, right? Like that, actually, something bad actually happens to an airline. I haven't heard of anything like that happening.
I haven't either.
So, if the situation actually is dangerous to fly into Caracas Airport or any other airport in the country, then wouldn't Delta automatically decide, you know what? This just isn't worth doing. We'll service Colombia. We'll service Brazil. We're just not going to service Venezuela until things settle down. Let the market decide. This seems really politically motivated to me.
Well, there's this politically motivated, and this is not the first example of this, and if I rack my brain, I could probably think of a few, but, where the State Department issues a travel advisory for whoever they don't like.
Right.
And this is meant to dissuade anyone.
It's a classic case of both sides being wrong. I mean, the Venezuelans are definitely wrong when they think that they're not going to starve to death if they insist on being socialists. They will starve to death if they insist on being socialists. But the Trump administration is wrong that it has a duty or even a right to intervene in that situation, much less a duty or a right to force us to pay for intervening in that situation.
From a moral point of view, the last thing I would ever consider doing would be to stop someone from getting on a plane in Caracas to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not a good thing.
Right. Or if you want to go, look, there's no doubt that it is a risky proposition to go to Venezuela. You cannot carry a gun. And unlike Tokyo, where, it's incredibly safe, apparently, according to Roger Ver, who, has lived there for 15 years, he says it's an incredibly safe place to live. It is not safe in Caracas in any way, shape, or form. I mean, there's crime all over the place in there.
It's the most dangerous city in the world, last I heard.
I believe it
took over for Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, I mean, if you're driving a truck in Venezuela, good luck. There's a good chance you're going to get waylaid. Some motorcycle gang going to run you off the road and steal all the. If you got food in the back of that truck? You can't defend yourself, basically. Like the trucker, all they can carry is a club or something like that. They can't do anything.
Well,
and the thing is, people say, well, what are you going to do about gang violence with one semi-automatic rifle? Well, I'll tell you what, you take one or two of them out, the rest of them are going to think twice next time.
Yeah.
Because these are not, if they were the bravest people on earth, they wouldn't be in gangs in the first place.
Right.
Well, plus, if you're driving a truck, you could always have somebody else driving with you, so you get two people instead of just you. And
they call it riding shotgun.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. 855, 450 free.
But if you want to go, you should be able to risk it. You should be able to take that risk.
Absolutely.
Damn right.
And it's no business of our government to try to tell you, to try to scare you. Present the facts and let people make their own decisions. That's what we should be doing. 855, 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
everyone! Proactive MD has an incredible offer for our radio listeners only. Stay tuned for our exclusive offer that includes a free charcoal pore cleansing brush and free shipping. Proactive MD with prescription strength adapalene can heal and prevent future breakouts. Today, for just $19.95, we're offering listeners the 3-piece Proactive MD system with free shipping, plus a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. Get this exclusive offer by calling now, 1-800-583-8662, or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. You heard right, Proactive MD, plus free shipping and a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. You'll get all this for just $19.95 and their 60-day money-back guarantee. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you get your money back. Call now, 1-800-583-8662. That's 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. Again, go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,286, silver at $14.52, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,942. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, police have broken into the Venezuelan embassy in Washington, D.C., and arrested 4 protesters from the Embassy Protection Collective. That's according to Medea Benjamin, an activist from the anti-war group Code Pink. Minpress News reports that among the 4 who were arrested during the raid are anti-war activists Kevin Zeese and Margaret Flowers. A U.S. Secret Service spokesman confirmed that it had helped Department of State's Diplomatic Security arrest the remaining Embassy Protection Collective protesters inside the embassy. The activists have been living inside the embassy since April 10th, in a bid to protect it from U.S. attempts to seize the facility and hand it over to supporters of Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido. The group was invited by the embassy's Venezuelan diplomats, who were forced to leave U.S. soil. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A shadowy UK government propaganda unit that privately declares that it works to affect behavioral and attitudinal change among British Muslims has drawn up plans to begin operating in France. The Anti-Media reports the Research, Information and Communications Unit, which is based at the Home Office in London, generates films, social media, websites, leaflets, and news stories that are intended to influence public opinion while concealing the British government's role in their creation. Now, documents seen by Middle East Eye show that RICU has awarded a contract to a consortium of communications companies, which demonstrates its ability to operate in France. The contract makes clear that while the companies are expected to be able to influence Muslim public opinion in France as part of a covert counter-extremism program, the ultimate aim of the program would be to encourage the French authorities to develop their own propaganda initiatives based on the RICU model. It's unclear from the documents whether RICU operations in France have actually begun, or whether the program is being developed in the hope of securing French cooperation in the future. Saudi Arabia, on Wednesday, submitted a letter to the United Nations Security Council, in which it held Iran and the Yemeni Houthi group responsible for targeting their oil facilities on Tuesday. The anti-media reports the letter was handed over by the permanent representative of Saudi Arabia to the United Nations. The letter included Saudi Arabia's holding of Iran and the Houthi militias it supports fully responsible for Tuesday's attack on the kingdom's oil facilities. According to the same source, a joint message was sent from Saudi Arabia and the UAE to the UN Security Council and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the attack and sabotage operation that occurred last Sunday against 4 ships in the International Sea off the UAE's territorial sea and coasts. On Tuesday, Saudi Arabia announced that bombed drones attacked 2 oil pumping stations from the eastern province fields to Yanbu commercial port on the western coast by the Houthi group. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
They started with Google Glass, and now the engineers behind Google have created a new body part to strap gadgets onto. They're calling it the flange, and the new synthetic skin appendage fits between the shoulder blades into a flat surface capable of holding a wide array of new gadgets for Google to hawk to consumers. While unveiling the innovation today, Google CEO Larry Page said, quote, "The possibilities for the number of completely pointless gadgets to strap, bind, and stick to your body are now endless." Early adopters are already raving about the synthetic body part.
It overheats and burns my skin pretty bad when I have it on, but I'm really getting to like it.
I'm actually thinking of getting a second one installed.
Critics are cautioning the tech world to not hail the flange as an achievement yet, since several users have reported problems with the device permanently grafting to their spinal column if worn overnight. Coming up next, Doritos unveils new e-Doritos that come in JPEG form whenever you're hungry.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live, 855, 453. Thank you for joining us for hour number 3. We do this every night from 7 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. And in studio tonight, it's myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Nobody, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul.
And I wanted to tell you about ForkFest. ForkFest 2019, which promises to be better than ForkFest 2018. And
I suspect it will.
I think it will be too. I know I'm starting to see a whole lot of buzz online.
Nothing will ever top Spoon Fest in 1973, though. That was the cutlery event that will never be repeated.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 13th through June 18th.
It's coming up fast.
For
1 month.
For ForkFest 2019, less than a month away at Rogers Campgrounds in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens right before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping or RV or motel room, your site or motel room at Rogers Campground from June 13th to 18th, and you're there. You can simply relax and go camping with other liberty lovers. You can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with other ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party.
Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event. Looking forward to it. And there's already a few different people talking about like creating food vendorships there, like having food tents and that sort of thing. And I'm excited about that. I think Rich Paul's even one of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely considering doing the chili thing.
Mm-hmm.
Chili.
I know my roommate's actually acquired some equipment, so like he's pretty serious about it. So at the very least, there's going to be a couple. Last year, most people were going down the street to the restaurant nearby that actually accepted crypto,
right?
Which was cool because there was literally nothing at ForkFest 2018 except in the mornings. Patrick was doing burritos, and he was backed up. He had so many orders he couldn't handle it. There was a waiting list to get a burrito in the morning because there was nobody else cooking. So there was a real opportunity there. So I expect some people are going to fill those gaps.
That's what happens at ForkFest. Markets reveal things that are in demand, and people will step up, and hopefully people will step up.
I hope so.
Because food's a good thing to have. It's not, you're going camping, you know.
Yeah.
You are going to be, you plan on probably one meal where it's going to be hot dogs and beans over a campfire and stuff like that, but it's nice to see what other people do, and that's always my favorite part of those things.
I would buy hot dogs and beans if somebody offered that.
It was that bad. Was it Venezuela? Was that what it...
Well, no, it wasn't Venezuela because legally we could just cross the border to McDonald's.
Right. Trump wasn't blocking flights out of ForkFest to go downtown.
Yeah. But, you know, that's, to me, the worst thing about the Venezuela sanctions because, really, I mean, the sanctions don't mean a pot of piss next to the actual damage that socialism has done in Venezuela.
Sure.
But... the sanctions give the commies the excuse.
Yes.
Oh, everything would have worked if it hadn't been for that $250,000 of sanctions by the United States. That's what sunk us.
And they literally do blame the sanctions. Maduro has been pointing at the United States as the reason, which, of course, you know, the suggestion there, the unspoken version is that, well, in order for socialism to succeed, they have to be able to trade with, more free market countries.
I hate to break this to people. I happen to be of an older generation than these two young bucks. But I remember reading the same crap coming out of the Soviet Union talking about how they cannot get, the reason that the stores or grocery stores are empty is because, the U.S. is not sending us food that they had promised to sell us.
Yeah.
And this was the story over there.
This is tried and true totalitarianism. There always has to be a scapegoat. You remember the 2-minute hates from 1984? What was the guy's name that they hated?
You talking about the book?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
I have.
Really?
I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of the guy, but there was this one guy that they blamed all the problems. Everything that they went wrong was sabotaged by this one guy who was running around the country. Yeah, exactly. The opposite of the great man. Or in Animal Farm, Napoleon had Snowball.
Right.
Who was the scapegoat when when the windmill fell. They had to blame it on Snowball because it couldn't be a failure of our good socialists.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing was true in North Korea, where they blamed the United States for the power outages.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't bad centrally managed, power company. It was the United States. They're sabotaging our power grid. They're destroying things secretly.
Yes, and and it's not just smaller countries. This was modus operandi in the USSR, the largest, not even the largest experiment in socialism, China. China did the same thing. All our ills, everything that's going well, the few things that were going well are all, give all credit to Chairman Mao. But anything evil, anything that's not going well, it's the enemies of communism.
Okay, but give credit to Chairman Mao where credit is due, because the whole running dog capitalist lackey thing was hilarious all through the 70s. Everybody was a running dog something or other.
I'm not familiar with this.
The Maoist propaganda involved a lot of calling people running dog capitalist lackeys and just very colorful prose that was hilarious.
What have they got against running dogs?
Yeah, I don't know. They hated dogs of all kinds, which is funny because they eat dogs.
Yeah.
So maybe they have to stay mad at dogs to eat them.
I didn't get to try any
not
dog
all
while I
do,
was
but
there.
I know that there are places there that there's
Was that on
there's
your
like
list?
a dog eating festival.
They have that, yeah, in China. It's still going to this day. The dog festival.
They
dog eating
try
festival.
to make sure it doesn't interfere should they ever have the Olympics over there. They don't want anything like that to be seen.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they do it in. I don't know how common it is in Japan. It is definitely more common, apparently, in Korea and in some parts of China.
Well, Japan, I don't think has ever been. I mean, they've always been pretty wealthy compared to the rest of Southeast Asia. They've done pretty well for themselves.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the phones where we have Ron. Ron is listening on Twitch. Ron, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind, Ron?
Recently,
Can you turn him up, please?
Yeah, I'm trying here. Can you speak a little closer to your microphone or
yes,
to your
hello,
headset?
Can you hear me?
Much better.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So yesterday, I guess Alabama, they signed the abortion bill into law. They signed I think it was like one of the most restrictive abortion bills in the country. And I was wondering, because I know that abortion is considered a divisive issue amongst libertarians. So I was wondering what you guys personally thought about the issue.
Well, me personally, I hate abortion. I hate the idea of taking another life or a potential life. And the dilemma is I also respect a woman's right to have some say over her own body. It's one that I don't always have a snap decision. That the problem I have on the whole issue is that my son was born successfully after a very bad pregnancy, and I saw about 13 different sonograms, so it's hard for me to imagine a baby as anything else.
Well, my religion would say that under certain circumstances, you're morally obligated to abort a child. And so I would say that there are cases in which the Alabama law might actually impose on my religious freedom. And I think that would be a very interesting case if it ever comes to light.
Ron, I'd like to talk a little bit more about this because I know it's been a big subject on social media and a lot of news stories out about it. The Alabama abortion bill, what do you think? Are you for it? Are you against it? Right? Wrong? Give us a call, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Chris.
And Ian.
And nobody, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul.
And we've been all over the board. We were talking about Venezuela, but we had a caller who wanted to discuss the action by the Alabama legislature. And as I guess the governor has signed this, I haven't followed the story that closely, but this idea that abortions need to be much, much, much harder in Alabama. One of the things I've seen on social media is now that the the penalty for having an abortion is now greater than the penalty for rape. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, but I'm going to do some research.
I don't know either. I'd be interested to see what the text of the law actually said.
That would be a great thing to have to refer to, but we are going to go back with Ron. He's listening on Twitch. Ron, are you still there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, I've seen multiple times. I mean, personally, I'm pro-life.
And can you
I do it.
Speak a little closer to your microphone?
It may be a network issue.
Hello.
Go ahead, Ron.
But yeah, so me personally, I'd say I'm pro-life because my view on it is that it's a violation that abortion is a violation of the NAP. And I've seen some people
that stands for non-aggression principle.
But I mean, I was just interested because I know a lot of people make different arguments. Some people say, "Oh, well, it's not a human yet." So I was just interested to see what you guys thought of that.
Yeah, this is an issue that I think has been lovingly described as talk radio hell, because every individual has a different opinion about it. Even people who call themselves libertarians have different opinions about this, widely varying opinions, because not everybody agrees on when this thing becomes an actual human. Some people think it's as soon as the sperm touches the egg. Others say that it's some arbitrary amount of weeks between that point and the point at which birth happens. So
And the latest moving target that we talked about is this trend to do heartbeat. Whenever a heartbeat is detectable, that is when the zygote, the baby, is considered a baby. And I can argue abortion with myself. I've felt both sides of this issue, and it's not an easy one.
I don't think that, and by the way, once again, and almost every time this topic comes up, it's always a bunch of dudes talking about it. We don't have any women in the studio here, but I think that from the women that I've known who've had to make this decision and chose to make the decision on its own is its own punishment. This is not an easy choice for most people to make. To have an abortion, and I think that on its own is pretty difficult to do, but it's something that should be done in a lot of circumstances, because I wouldn't want somebody to raise a child that didn't want to have that child. And maybe in the future there will be a way to sort of jettison a fetus from a woman that doesn't want it, keep it alive in some sort of scientific laboratory environment, and then give it to somebody that actually wants it. But I wouldn't want somebody that didn't want a child to have that child. That's just going to be a messed up kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's and that's a problem, because the thing is, not being in a womb, being in that womb for that time is part of your development, okay? And so even though I think it's quite possible that a baby that was pulled out of a uterus and thrown into a bottle would not grow up to be a well-adjusted human being. And I would certainly say that a parent has a right still to say, I don't want my child subjected to that. There may be reasons that you don't want to have a child. Maybe you're an alcoholic and you believe that alcoholism is a genetic disease and you don't want to put your child through that. Well, you have that right as parent, okay? Because every person has a right to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The parents have the right to exercise any right that child has on behalf of the child until the child, so the parent can consent to medical care for the child. If the child is sufficiently sick, the parent could euthanize the child morally under certain circumstances. And that's what I look at. That's how the church looks at abortion, is you should have an abortion if you were situated as the fetus is situated, you would want to be aborted.
Yeah, it's...
so you put yourself in the patient's place.
Hold on. Ron, go ahead.
But can I just, because the problem with that argument that I have is, I mean, I agree you should be allowed to end your own life whenever you want, because that's your own well-being. I mean, I don't think the government should be telling you how you're going to live your life. But the problem that I have is that there's not really much of a way for that fetus or that child or whatever you want to call it to say, oh, yeah, I consent to have my life ended.
Yes.
And I understand that,
the fetus doesn't have the ability to consent. It's not an actual, in my opinion, it's not a real human being at that point.
Until when?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, do we abort 1-year-olds because their parents decide they can no longer take care of them?
Well, there are some circumstances in which that might be appropriate. I mean, if you look back in history, and an ethical system has to be able to work in all stages of economic development. So let's look back at the ancient Greeks and Romans. When a child was born deformed, or when a child was born who was not likely to grow into a healthy, productive adult, they would expose that infant. And that was the reason that they did that, is because that conserved the resources that were required to keep the rest of the society
I get it,
alive.
but it's kind of hard to argue
But
that
that's
in an
kind
age
of
of
a dark
plenty.
ages
Yeah.
thing.
Hey, Ron,
but we're not
thanks
in
for
an
your
age
call.
of plenty globally. We're in an age of plenty in America.
Well, and that's where we're talking about specifically. We're talking about Alabama, and we'll keep going here. Dylan calling in from Portland, Maine, listening to 1310. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Got to turn that down. Got to turn it down. Put them on hold.
Turn down your radio.
Yep. You got to turn the radio down. Normally I would think our board operator would inform folks of that, but
We're going to go Jack in Jackson, Michigan. Jack, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, Michigan. Thank you. Just want to address the one thing you said. One of you, I'm not sure which guy said. I don't know you by names. I don't know how to associate your name with your voice.
We'll try to help
you. You mentioned if a parent doesn't want to raise a child, they should not have to. That is foolish. Then don't get pregnant.
I don't think anybody said that.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did.
Well, stand by. We can talk to you more about it.
We're going to put you on hold. Let's come back and we'll talk about it.
Hang on. We'll talk to you. Hang on.
Hold on. What do you think? A divisive topic as always.
I agree with them. Don't have a kid, but sometimes people make mistakes.
Exactly. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free Talk Live.
As long as the majority of people say that you can't smoke in public, or the majority of people say you can't have a windmill in your yard, or the majority of people say you can't wear your pants down around your butt, or the majority of people say that you can't contract to live with the person you want to live with, or the majority of the people say that you've got to pay for public schools. As long as the majority says it, it must be okay, because crowds have wisdom. Oh, come on.
Nonsense.
Crowds lynched people for being witches.
There's so many instances in history where we acknowledge now that the majority was massively and horribly wrong.
Yes.
But why aren't we acknowledging it? That, look, we've had precedent for that. Why aren't we acknowledging it now in terms of how we decide how we're going to interact with each other? That, look, maybe that's not a good way to figure out right and wrong. That the majority believes in a certain thing. And that's how we find out right from wrong.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. We've been dealing with a bunch of calls about Alabama's controversial near ban on abortions, according to the governor who signed this into law, considered the most restrictive anti-abortion abortion law on the books in any state. She doesn't even expect it to hold up to a challenge in court, but she hopes that it will provide a court case that may challenge Roe v. Wade, and that seems to be the goal of this thing. Under this law, any doctor who performed...
if it actually gets fought to the Supreme Court and wins, that's like the ultimate standing up in court, but she expects it to suffer appeal. She's expecting to lose the first appeal, but win in the Supreme Court.
That's her hope. Under this law, any doctor who performs a abortion could face life in prison.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy
That's
stuff.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, murderers don't go to prison for life.
Yes, that is correct. And there's a bunch of insanity. Again, it just really appears to be more about stirring up a issue that is already, as we've seen with our calls tonight, very emotional.
Well, we
And
also
as
had a
Ian-
caller who dropped off the line, right? Like he called in to do a drive-by at Rich Paul, I think.
Yeah.
That was it. He yelled a little bit, and
He said, if you don't want to, child, don't have sex or don't, make one or whatever. And
Yeah.
It's like,
No, he actually said that I said that if you don't want to raise a child, you don't have to, and that's not quite what I said ever.
Yeah. And I certainly don't advocate. I think the cruelest thing is to imagine that your birth control method is abortion. I don't even know if that actually occurs.
I've dated 2 women who have had abortions. Neither of the children were mine. But before they knew me, each of them had an abortion, and both of them said it was an extremely painful experience. Yeah. One of them had a psychotic break afterwards.
Wow.
I don't doubt
So, yeah, this is not something
Not easy.
that is not easy, unless, of course, you're a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a sociopath, it would be really easy to have an abortion. And if you're a sociopath, if you're listening, I want you to have an abortion if you're pregnant, but you don't care because you have no sense of right and wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to try Dylan again. We had a bunch of noise last time. Dylan, you're on Free Talk Live. Can you hear us?
Hey, sorry about the static earlier, guys.
That's all right.
Can you hear me now?
It
Yes,
wasn't
we
static.
can.
It was you were playing the show in the background, I think.
It did sound like maybe
Yeah,
there
that's
was...
the thing. That's
Okay.
the thing. Yeah. First time call, so I'm
That's all
learning.
right.
No worries.
Listen on
But
hold anyway.
I like ton of the points you guys are making tonight. I really, really appreciate it. It's such a double-edged sword, like you're saying. Like it's just so hard to make the decision. So it's just like, why don't we leave this up to autonomy? Why don't we leave this up to the individual?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's people who are going to take advantage of the system, and there's people who are going to do bad things with what you can do with this freedom. That's one of my talking points. And then the other one is just like, do you think, on the law basis, do you think more states are going to fall into suit on this and try to propose laws like this? I'm going to hang up and listen to you on the radio. Thanks, guys. Really
No
appreciate it.
worries. Thanks for the call, Dylan.
Are more
Again,
states going to follow suit?
Well, we did do a story about four or five or six different states that are all jumping on board with the heartbeat abortion laws, saying that life begins as soon as you can detect a heartbeat. And to me, that is such a sliding scale. What we can technologically detect today is going to be different 2 years from now. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, there is a finite point at which the heart begins to beat, though.
Sure. But I think
it's probably detectable at the point that it starts beating.
Maybe, maybe not. But then will the anti-abortioners advocate? Well, when we can first detect, EKG. Something coming from a brain. That's a technological advancement that we haven't hit yet, but maybe they will. And is the goal just to keep moving the bar back until it, by default, outlaws all abortions?
Well, that's their goal. And the funny thing is, if you look at what would happen in this if it was solved purely democratically, what I would imagine would be that pro-choicers would be able to keep the right to choose until the pro-lifers outnumbered them. Okay, and then the pro-lifers will be able to outlaw abortion. Well, at that point, the pro-choicers will start having more children. Okay, so slowly the number of pro-choicers will build up until they legalize abortion again, and then the number of pro-choicers will start to fall. And so, if the point is that any time the opponents of abortion outlaw abortion, their enemies will just outbreed them until they can undo it. So just give it up, guys. Just give it up.
They're working against themselves unintentionally.
And the thing is, I wish this was being argued on a larger plane, because I want your right. I want to see somebody protesting for your right to make your own insulin in your bathtub if you know how.
Well, to the pro-lifers out there, and I'm pretty much pro-life. Like I said, I can argue this thing in my head because there are so many different ways, different situations you could imagine it going either way. But I wish pro-lifers would be pro-life when it comes to dropping bombs in the Middle East.
Yeah.
What
about those human beings?
Yeah. Or it comes to the war on drugs. When it comes to overdoses because people are buying crap on the streets. These are all lives. Tell me again, every life matters, right?
And of course, the same thing is going to happen if you outlaw the abortion pill or the morning after pill. You're going to have people getting poisoned because people are putting garbage out as an abortion pill on the black market.
Right.
Anytime you create a black market, that kind of thing is going to go on in it. And the famous back alley abortion where the mother dies. That's always a threat to the life of the mother.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to go to the phones where we have Sarah in Albuquerque. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, Intel, that company, they're going to hire another 300 local workers here.
In New Mexico?
Yes.
Have you warned them yet? Sarah, you just called in 2 days ago telling me not to ask people to come visit people in New Mexico because they will die.
In a car accident, right?
Right. So have you written to the people at Intel, or maybe you can get in a hold of a list of people that may be considering these jobs and urge them not to come?
Well, the thing is, Intel, that company, they have been in the Rio Rancho, the city. They have been there for the last 20, 30 years or so.
How many are still surviving?
I think they already have 1,200 workers. They're going to close their company down, and they're really downsized it. And now they're going to go back to hiring 300 local workers again.
I feel for those people.
So they had 1,000 workers, and they're downsizing, but now they're hiring more workers?
Well, they used to have, 20 years ago, they used to have a lot of workers, and they downsized.
Was that because they were trying to keep them safe from car accidents? I mean, how do they keep them? How do they get them to work every day in an armored vehicle?
Well, Do you remember brain drain? Remember I was telling you one of the reasons that they
You mean the feeling our
downsized
listeners get when you come on the air?
Oh, jeez.
Brain drain. All of the educated ones they have left out of our state, and they find out that people that work there, they're actually illiterate.
They what?
Because you know what, their sisters and their mothers. You know who fill out their applications? Their wives, their brothers.
Do the do the literacy tests have words like stop, yield, walk?
No,
don't
you couldn't
walk.
read yours.
They find out they were illiterate after they got the job. They worked there for a whole year. They screwed everything up, and then they decided we're going to give you a literacy test, and they can't read or write, but they got a job.
Unbelievable. Hey, Sarah,
that's enough.
Sarah, we got to go. Thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. 855-450-FREE. Final segment coming up. Give us a call. You can still get on the air. This is Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Final segment, 855, 453. We'd love to get you on the air before we wrap things up, but I wanted to give a little shout out. This isn't the kind of radio show where, hey, I'd like to give a shout out. But in this case, I want to say thank you to Libertarian Banker. He is one of our listeners. He is a dedicated listener who's also a member of our AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and he is a gold listener, which means that he has made a financial pledge of $10 every month to go towards free markets and liberty by helping us get on more radio stations. That's where the money goes for us to get on more radio stations and spread the message of liberty. And thank you, Libertarian Banker. Always a good caller, too. I love when he calls in.
Well informed.
So a good guy all around. But we are going to go to the phones where we have Andrew calling in from Jackson, Michigan. Andrew, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, I was just curious of your guys' opinions on the whole Alabama abortion bill. I would consider myself more of a conservative, but listening to just the reactions of the conservatives, they're kind of, hey, we're all pro-life, but then they come out with this bill, and now they're like, well, we wanted pro-life, but we don't. That seems a bit extreme, don't you think? And I feel like in the past, conservatives kind of have that dual mindset. Hey, we want this, but then when we get it as a group, it's kind of like, well, we didn't want that much. It kind of seems like a two-sided coin, and they don't necessarily really want what they're asking for.
There is an element of this that reminds me of the bump stock ban that Trump passed, and basically changed federal regulations to call bump stocks, which are accessories to firearms, to call them machine guns. And, you know, and this is typically a Republican issue, a conservative issue, gun control. And here you have a president enacting this, and you've got a lot of us who are very upset with this. This is sort of that same thing, you know, on the one hand, and a lot of Republicans are up in arms about this Alabama bill. They figure, well, you know, you really went too far. You know, we could never do that, and it just seems like a setup for a court case. Your thoughts?
I agree, more or less. I think it will end up kind of going to the courts. I don't necessarily. I thought Missouri's kind of had a better take, a more gradual, like, hey, you know, we're going to start here, but if it doesn't last, we'll go to 12 weeks. If that doesn't pass, we'll go to 20 weeks. It was more of a gradual plan. And then this looks just to be put into law, but then it immediately go to the courts. It almost seems like it was just kind of set up to just more or less challenge Roe v. Wade rather than to actually slowly increment a more pro-life law.
Well, that's what the governor is saying. She signed this into law. Governor Ivey signed it into law and said that's exactly what she expects to happen. I don't know. The thing about abortion, can there ever be a compromise? Can there ever be both sides coming together and say, yep?
I think the best compromise is federalism.
Yeah.
I really do, that some states should have their abortion laws and that other states should not have abortion laws. I mean, that's the best short-term compromise, I think. And then if you end up in a state that doesn't match your inclination, you can always vote with your feet.
Yes.
So that, you know, either your daughter or your grandchild is not at risk or whatever, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, no one is standing up there saying, well, you've got to look at Article 3, Clause 4, where the founders discussed abortion. No, they never did, because this is not a federal issue. This is properly left to the states according to the Constitution.
Yeah, no medical care is a federal issue, and that's the thing. This keeps us off. Should we have any regulations on doctors at all? Should we have an FDA? Should we have an American Medical Association? Should we have a cartel of big pharma companies that are allowed to criminalize the rest of us who choose to go to their competition? You know?
Yeah,
and,
I mean that's what I was thinking. At least with Roe v. Wade, before that, the states were kind of in that situation where, like, well, yeah, some of the states did allow abortion, some didn't. But then once Roe v. Wade came in, and then it became more of a federal issue, and went to the Supreme Court when the states were already kind of leaning towards, well, we'll make it legal in this state, we won't make it legal in that state, and that's where it was more federalist. But now it is federal law, and so on and so forth.
Yes, and again, if there were ever a challenge to R v. Wade, I mean, that's what it should be, is the challenge about whether this should have been on the books in the first place. To me, it shouldn't.
And I'm pro-choice, and I believe that Roe versus Wade was wrongly decided. It should have been left at the state level. There was no federal consensus, and there was no reason for the federal government to intrude.
And then come up with 3 months as an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
Which they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, and I'm pro-life, but I totally agree with what you said. I mean, I do think it should be left up to the states, and if I live in a state where I don't necessarily agree, I can vote with my feet.
Would the pro-lifers then, if things went, really, let's say we actually had the states going in the directions they wanted to, let's get rid of the federal government, we've now got 50 different states, would the pro-lifers then invade and create a war to kill the people who are having abortion in the abortion states?
Me personally, I don't think that would be the best idea, because, I mean, most
That's really a more question.
Again, pro. Yeah,
but are they though? Because don't a lot of pro-lifers support the military invading other countries?
Well, I'm going to give you an answer now, which is that there are some pro-lifers that would feel the need to impose that on the whole world, and there are some who wouldn't. The question is which ones will get political control, and that can't be predicted.
Right, but we've already seen bombings of abortion clinics. I mean, that happens left and right. Killings, not left and right. I'm not going to be that guy that sensationalizes this.
An evil in somebody else's jurisdiction is always more tolerable than an evil in your jurisdiction. If they were doing female circumcision in New Hampshire, that would bother me. Not enough that I would probably go to war to tell them or violently force them to stop, but that's pretty horrific.
It is. Andrew, thank you for your call. It's a good point, and I think, again, you have the hardcore anti-abortion side that, I don't know if they really have defended bombings of abortion clinics, but I think some of them, at least secretly, probably got what was coming to them. We're going to go back to the phones where we've got David calling in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Sheriff Judge Heath White strikes again. Turns out that that's the judge that he took all that $162,000 out of the sheriff's department and kept it for himself, sold some guns, stuff like that.
And then was
Pardon?
appointed.
I said, sweet. It's good to be in the gang.
And then was appointed judge to try his own case.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
And it turns out that before Judge Sheriff was either sheriff or judge, and stole all that stuff and was selling it at his old mill feed store in Moriarty, New Mexico. On his Facebook page there, you can see the guns he's selling. Turns out he was an APD cop in 2004 when he decided to resign instead of being fired while he was under investigation for he had arrested a DWI suspect and stole $700 from the guy in the process. So it turns out he did that too.
This guy is a one-man gang. At least it's got to be some temporary
He's not a one-man
entertainment
gang. He's got backup.
Well, that's true.
He's
That's
got
true.
Yeah, he's got his wife working for him, Jennifer, over there selling the stolen goods, fencing the stolen goods over at the Old Mill Feed store.
So is the noose tightening here on this guy? I mean,
it's looking like it. It's looking like Judge of APD retired or quit. He looks like he's going to be facing some jail time, unless he gets probation like everybody else in New Mexico. There's a dude that committed a second-degree murder as a juvenile, like they fingered Mark for. Only this dude got probation instead of 9 years in prison. So Sheriff Judge will probably get probation.
What is it about crimes against children that everybody's getting probation on them? It's not just Arizona or New Mexico. Call. It's all over the country. There's been a wave of these stories I've been reading. What the hell?
It's been craziness. But that's all the time we have left for tonight here on Free Talk Live. Thank you for listening. This is Chris.
And Ian. See you tomorrow.
And nobody.
And we hope to hear from you soon. Free Talk Live.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2